What is good, defenders, and welcome back to your favorite pre-match segment on LAFC's interwebs. That's right, this is One More Sleep, brought to you by your good friends here at Defenders of the Bank. I am your friendly neighborhood scarf, coming to you live from Lawndale, and very excited to welcome back my partner in pod for our One More Sleep for Portland. I tried to throw in as many P's as I can there, but he's got none of them in his name. I give you Chris Lafferty.
Appreciate it. How's that for a P word, my man? Thank you so much for having me back, JR. And hello to all the defenders. The chat is starting up already. This is awesome. William, hello. Ruben, hi. Fluffhead, hello. Good to see you. And who else? Oh, we got the Coug in the chat already. I'm fired up, man. It's Thursday night. We don't normally do this on a Thursday. How great is this?
Listen, LAFC doesn't care what day of the week it is coming up. We've got Leagues Cup happening on a Tuesday. I think one of the days is called Febter Day. I don't even know what's going on with this Leagues Cup schedule. But before we get to Leagues Cup, we've got to go through the Portland Timbers at home. This is going to be a good one. Look, everybody knows what happens when LAFC and the Portland Timbers hook up. It's likely going to be physical. It's likely going to go all the way down to the wire. It is going to be a fun one. But we got a couple things we want to hit on first. We're going to talk about this stuff more on episode 373 in a couple of days. But first of all, LAFC is collabing with Sia, people. We all know that we have collabed with Cypress Hill and the incredible, incomparable DJ Flick over and over and over again. But Sia, people, Sia, of Lafferty's favorite song, Chandelier, my favorite song, Titanium. There are just so many good hits by Sia. The newest one is Street by Street, and it is an LAFC anthem for the ages. Make sure you check out this incredible compilation, compilation, right? No, collaboration. That's the one with Sia. It's absolutely unbelievable. We had a great one with will.i.am like earlier this week. What is LAFC? There's going to be an album. LAFC is coming out with an album, folks. I'll buy it on CD. I'm ready. Get it on record. Everybody who's under the age of like 35 just asked themselves what a CD was, but that's okay. I don't even know anymore. Lafferty, have you heard Sia, Cypress Hill, and DJ Flick Street by Street? And what do you think?
I have. I got a special sneak preview listen of it today, courtesy of our friend Richard Roscoe. Thank you for that hookup. And that's why, my friends, I'm very excited for it. I know LAFC put them out on the channels. Dude, this is just going to be, it's going to be great. And if nothing else, I just love that people like LAFC and Be Real and Cypress Hill and DJ Flick, they all come together to make these songs for LAFC. How cool is that? I mean, hey, if we were fans of the team down the 110, well, the only song we'd have is So you know what? I'm already pumped because you can't get better. Anything's going to be better than what they got down south in Carson. I'm fired up and I love it. Like you said, I love Sia. I'm swinging from the chandelier just with excitement, baby. Here we go.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Look, shout out, by the way, to our very own Sticks from Watts, the original anthem for LAFC, done by Watts Sticks. The Think Watts Foundation, always near and dear to our heart. But this is pretty cool. And everybody, calm down. I don't think the International Hat Box is for Heung-Min Son. We've talked about it before on this podcast. It looks like the International Hat Box will likely be for Mathieu Chonier, who is the 26-year-old Canadian midfielder currently playing for Grasshopper, the club that LAFC bought a majority stake in 2024. He could be the first player to come over as a result of a formal partnership with a European club, which is kind of fun. Grasshopper probably not churning out the talent the likes of Bayern Munich, so it would be nice to partner with those other guys for a little bit if we could. He is a long-time Montreal Impact and Club de Foot Montreal performer. 139 matches, 12 goals, 9 assists, 17 caps. 17 caps for the Canadian men's national team. El Maple Tree as we like to call them. So a player who will immediately be able to come in and give us some depth in the midfield. Not sure if he's going to be taking any minutes away. But that being said, it's likely Mathieu Chonier. This is one more sleep, so something to think about, Lafferty, as you are headed to the match tomorrow, Friday night. The first 10,000 fans to enter BMO Stadium on Friday night will receive an LAFC dog scarf courtesy of Zippy Paws. You've got your previously given away dog scarf. Lafferty got a sneak preview of Sia's track, but he didn't get a sneak preview of this year's dog scarf. I believe that is last year's, correct?
2023. This was the St. Louis match. The first time St. Louis ever played here at BMO Stadium. And that was their inaugural year. And also their kit sponsor is Purina. And we also had a scarf giveaway, like a doggy bandana giveaway that day, with the Purina and LAFC logo on it. I thought that was a really nice little jab and twist of the knife against St. Louis to use their own sponsors against them. I love it. Way to go, LAFC. But we got this scarf, dog scarf. You could put this around their paw, I think. Because, I mean, if you put that around their neck, they're going to choke. I don't know what they were thinking. But, Zippy Paws. Here we go. There it is.
Yeah. And look, here's the thing to remember, folks. LAFC is going to team up with the nonprofit Pups Without Borders to host a dog adoption event prior to the match, allowing fans the opportunity to adopt pups of all ages. Visit LAFC Lane on the north side of BMO Stadium. I didn't know it was called LAFC Lane, but visit LAFC Lane on the north side of BMO Stadium to meet some pups. You can play with some puppies, you guys, and learn about many more in need of a loving home. I'm sorry. I still only think about Jerry the King Lawler anytime somebody says the word puppies, but that's fine. That is neither here nor there.
How about, there you go. I was going to say, how about no longer here is that comment that you pinned there on the bottom of our screen. Look, the chat is blowing up, my man, but look, if you hear me laughing, you're like, what is this idiot doing? Just make sure you're watching live with us whenever we go, because the chat is on fire, especially tonight. Our buddy Denis Belonga, fresh off his trip to Austin down there to represent us in the All-Star game, he's in the chat with us tonight. Coog, Ruben, Fluffhead, everybody, just cracking me up. I gotta stay focused. Focused.
All right, let's talk about this match as we get set to take on Portland. A couple of roster notes for LAFC. LAFC will already be out Aaron Long, Maxime Chanot, and Eddie Segura. We know Eddie Segura with the red card. Unfortunately, Aaron Long and Maxime Chanot with injuries. But in what was kind of a drop by LAFC on the player availability report. It's not the injury report. It's the player availability report. Eddie Segura is not injured. Neither is Sergi Palencia. Sergi Palencia is out for this match. And this is why we make friends in the media room, folks. The credentialed media member himself, Josh Gross, who we absolutely love on this podcast and in the LAFC media room. You can find him on Twitter at Yay_Yee. That's YAY_YEE. Josh Gross, a fantastic follow on Twitter if you're looking for LAFC news. I will read to you his exact tweet. LAFC will play without Sergi Palencia on Friday. He's in Spain working through the process to receive his green card. He should return in time for the start of League's Cup, but that is not 100% sure yet. So there you go. He is no longer, hopefully, going to count as an international roster spot once he gets his green card. That is a massive win for LAFC. I appreciate everything that Sergi Palencia is doing. Did someone say in the chat, is it Fluffhead? Did someone say in the chat that he is
yes.
dating Sia? Is that a thing?
Yes, Palencia, if you will.
I get it. I get it. So she would be Sia Palencia. That'd be a lot. Either way, Sergi Palencia not going to be here. So if you thought we were thin on the back line when Eddie Segura got the red card, Sergi said, hold my Spanish beverage of choice. I don't know. What can we have? Some Rioja? Some Tempranillo? I don't know. Something yummy. He said to hold it. And oh, by the way, in case we wanted to get thinner, not that it'll affect us for Leagues Cup, but Ryan Hollingshead is on yellow card accumulation watch in this one, along, by the way, with Sergi Palencia. But if he's able to pick up a yellow card in Spain, that would be impressive. If
there's anyone to do it, if there's anybody who can do it, though, I believe it's Sergi Palencia.
Yeah, Sergi could find a way for sure. This is a good old-fashioned barn burner in the standings between LAFC and Portland. LAFC 5th place in the West with their 36 points. Portland 6th place in the West with their 34 points. Right next to each other in the standings. LAFC has scored 39 goals on the season. Portland 32. LAFC has allowed 27 goals on the season. Portland has allowed 32, so an even 32-32 there for Portland. But LAFC has played 2 fewer matches. So the fact that we've scored 7 more goals and given up 5 fewer on the season in 2 fewer matches could be very interesting to see. LAFC, who's coming in with much more firepower. We will talk about that in a second. This is the 22nd meeting between the clubs. I've put other incorrect things here on my notes because I forgot to delete something, but that's okay. 22nd meeting here between the clubs. LAFC is 8-6-7 all time, 7 draws between the two clubs, but 8 wins, 6 losses. But at BMO Stadium, Chris Lafferty, LAFC 6 wins, 2 losses, and 4 draws. And of course, that is where this match is being played. Portland coming in to BMO Stadium always conjures up some feelings. What do you think about when you see those pesky pine trees of Portland coming into BMO?
That pesky is the right word for them. They are the team that no matter what is going on in either team's season, both of them are going to bring a competitive matchup for us. Both teams are going to have a competitive match. They're a team that you can never overlook. Even was it 2 years ago when they were having a down year, or was it last year? It all blends together with the MLS. Anyway, they are always just a team that's a threat to us, a team you can never overlook. And what strikes me about this team is how they have so many different scoring options and threats, and so many people who create chances and opportunities for other teammates as well. Their goal and assist category is astounding. Their goal scoring leaders and their assist leaders is a wide range of names that they have going on there. It's just, look, they're a team that whenever Portland comes to town, you kind of hold your breath because you know you can beat them, but they're not going to make it easy if you do.
I like Denis Bouanga already has his mythical bet on for this match, $1,000 that Diego Chara gets a yellow card tomorrow. I would actually be careful with that bet, and I'll tell you why in just a couple of minutes here on One More Sleep. Look, the one thing that we know that we will likely see now, if you go by the way that Portland has been playing this player all season, I think in goal will not be James Pantemis, who we saw the last time LAFC played Portland. I believe it will be Maxime Crepeau. And I'll tell you why, man. When you get to Portland, Chris Lafferty, have you been to Portland before? Have you ever had the chance of visiting?
I've never been to Portland in my life. No.
All right. Well, you got to get there. As soon as you drive in, you see a giant sign that says, "Keep Portland Weird." There's a sign that says, "Keep Portland Weird," and what a weird season it has been for Maxime Crepeau. Maxime Crepeau gave up 4 goals on opening night to Vancouver, and then he was out hurt for a few matches with a leg injury. Then he seemingly lost his spot to James Pantemis for the month of April. But then when the Timbers had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 8 matches in May, he started all 8 matches. He went 3-3-2 in those 8 matches. So then they said, okay, Maxime, that was a good run in May. We're sitting you for all of June. He did not play in a match in June. Of course, now the calendar flips to July, and he's played in all 4 matches in July. I don't know if the coaching staff of Phil Neville there believes in like the Zodiac calendar, the Julius Caesar calendar, or whatever they're doing there in Portland. It's the weirdest thing. They play him 1 month, get him, take him off the sheet for 1 month. Back-to-back clean sheets in May, by the way, May 10th and 14th, and then absolutely nothing for Maxime Crepeau. It has not been a great season. He overall 4 wins, 6 losses, 3 draws. Hard to get any real rhythm going. I mean, I guess maybe 8 matches in May can do it for you, but after that, it's been rough. Maxime Crepeau coming back to BMO Stadium. No doubt Chris Lafferty will get a pretty big ovation if they announce his name in the starting lineup.
Absolutely. I mean, I've had this Maxime Crepeau framed picture in my shrine over here for the last 3 years. That was from when you and I and Philly and everybody, we met him at Party Beer Co. back in 2022. That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Look, I love the guy, man. I love the guy, not just for his heroics in the Cup final, but all throughout that entire season. He was just the guy where the first time where, as an LAFC fan, you just felt like, yeah, this is it. We solidified our goalkeeper. He just instilled so much confidence and security in this team in his time here. And then even in his comeback effort, man, he worked so hard to get back there. So the dude's given us so much. So all we owe to him is everything we got when they announced his name. So I love the guy. Maxime, if you're listening, I know you're a big friend of the show. Just nothing but love here from the Defenders of the Bank.
Dude gave his leg for the club. Unfortunately for him, he probably also gave his job for the club. Having Hugo Lloris coming up on the market, LAFC had to pivot, and he was cheaper, by the way. Hugo Lloris came cheaper than Maxime Crepeau. Some injury news for Portland. One of my favorite players to watch, just because he reminds me so much of Yasiel Puig. You don't know if he's going to score a goal or yell at his coach or get a red card or do something silly out there on the pitch. One of my favorite Dodgers back in the day was Yasiel Puig. Was Jonathan Cabecita Rodriguez. Cabecita is a singularly talented player in Major League Soccer. However, dude can't stay healthy, and there may be some issues with team chemistry. He has just played 208 minutes all season for the very enigmatic but talented Cabecita and Portland in 2025. And despite missing a few matches, tied for the team lead with 6 goals and 11 goal contributions is Anthony. He will be out as well in this one. Those are 2 very big misses on offense for Portland, both Cabecita and Anthony. And David da Costa is also questionable in this one. He's had a groin issue for quite some time. 4 goals, 7 assists on the season for David da Costa. It's going to be interesting if they are without Cabecita, Anthony, and David da Costa. They're going to need to find it somewhere. And luckily, Chris Lafferty, they do have plenty of other options for offense. Kevin Kelsey, which, by the way, they thought that Kevin Kelsey at 20 years old would be like an even swap for Evander, as they let Evander go to FC Cincinnati and they let Kevin Kelsey leave Cincinnati and come to Portland. I didn't see Kevin Kelsey starting in the All-Star game and wearing the captain's armband. That was Evander that Portland let go. So you got to think about that. But Kevin Kelsey with 6 goals in 23 matches. Felipe Mora, 5 goals and 3 assists, including that brace against LAFC earlier this year in 2025, and a player who I know you're going to talk about a little bit later, Lafferty, in Santi Moreno.
That's right. And I just want to point out, Kelsey is not the third Kelsey brother to Travis and Jason. So I did some digging there. Yes, he is not the same. He's an imposter. He heard, hey, we got this really great duo of brothers who play football. And he heard that and go, okay, cool. And started playing soccer. And it was a disaster. But yes, anyway, not the third Kelsey brother. You heard it here first on Defenders of the Bank. Thank you. And hey, look, I'm sorry to go off topic here. Our friend Denis Bawanga in the chat here. Look, I'm going to say something. He slandered me in the chat. He said Laugh is the type of guy who you would see jogging in place at a stoplight. No, that's not true. I don't jog in place when I get to stoplights. I wait for the thing. I maybe stretch if I have to, but no, I take my break, get ready, and then hit it once the light goes green. And by the way, if you're looking to join me on a run this Sunday, January 27th at 7 a.m. at the LA State Historical Park, you can join me and the rest of the Black and Gold Running Club for our monthly meetup there. And everybody is welcome, all ages, all levels, and we'll have a few different types of options for your distances. Some people are training for marathons, so they might want to go a little longer. Some people just may want to come and walk a little bit. That's fine no matter what you do. So join us Sunday at 7 a.m. at the LA State Historical Park, and don't ever say that I jog at stoplights again.
I kind of see it. I see what he's saying. I think that'd be kind of funny. I could see you jogging in place at a stop.
That's not true. Not true.
Diego Chara, by the way, is starting to finally age a little bit here in what I believe is his 39th season in Major League Soccer, despite them just celebrating their 30th anniversary. He started just 9 matches this season. He's come off the bench for 9 more, and he has not been in the squad for 5 of them. In the matches that they have started, that he has started, they're just 3-3-3. So it has been interesting without Diego Chara in the lineup. But by the way, his next match for the Portland Timbers will be his 469th in a Timbers shirt. That is a lot of matches for a player that plays the position that Diego Chara does. Absolutely incredible. One other player I want to make sure we mention before we get into the keys to the game, the score predictions, and then, of course, the players to watch, is a player by the name of Finn Sermon. Finn Sermon is a 21-year-old Welsh center back who actually, even though he's Welsh, my man, plays for the New Zealand national team. All he's done as a 21-year-old, by the way, is to lead the Portland Timbers in both appearances and minutes in 2025 as a center back. The dude almost never comes off the pitch. And I'm actually really intrigued to watch this center back, Welsh center back, 21-year-old Finn Sermon, who I guess, is he a Kiwi? Is he a Welshman? I don't know. He's both. But either way, he's going to be fun to watch. Of course, Phil Neville on the sideline. Against LAFC with Portland, Phil Neville has not beaten LAFC as a member of the Portland Timbers. He did coach in the 3-3 draw back on April 19th of this year. LAFC, as you remember, was down 2-0 in that match as they came back to tie it at 2 behind goals by Olivier Giroud and David Martinez, and a 90th minute PK salvaged a point for LAFC. So the last time we played was up in Portland, and it was 3-3. But let's get into it. Let's get into our players to watch, our keys to the match, and our score predictions. Y'all, look, the correct answer for this one isn't Kenny Nielsen. I understand that I am putting Kenny Nielsen as my player to watch. The real correct answer I'll get to actually in my keys to the match, and that's called cheating and doubling down, but I can do that. Kenny Nielsen might play in this match. Kenny Nielsen wears number 45. He was a signing to the big club earlier this year from LAFC 2. And he plays center back, folks. He plays center back. The only healthy, available center back that we have right now is Nkosi Tafari. And I'm pretty sure he's going to play in this match a whole lot. I don't know who's going to line up next to him. Will it be Josh Santiago? Will it be Artem Smolyakov? No, because I think he's going to play for Sergi Palencia in this match. What happens with Ryan Hollingshead? He's probably going to play on the opposite side. He plays on the right when Artem is on the left. So I don't know who the hell is going to play if we play in a 4-3-3. Maybe if we play in a very traditional 3-5-2, we get Yaboa out there to do some things. Or maybe we get Frankie Amaya as a fourth midfielder to play kind of a wing back, kind of a weird thing. I don't know. It's not going to be Ryan Raposo. He's out with an injury. So I'm saying it might be number 45, Kenny Nielsen, starting for LAFC alongside Nkosi Tafari with Artem Smolyakov and Ryan Hollingshead on the opposite sides of the center backs. It's going to be very interesting to see the lineup that Steve Cherundolo puts out there. I think the front line will be fine. It'll be Denis Bouanga, Nathan Ordaz, and Javier Dilrosun. And then the midfield, I don't imagine it changing, obviously, between Igor Jesus, Timothy Tillman, and Mark Delgado. So that's who I've got. And in Portland, just because I love the guy and we're all going to watch him and we're all going to cheer him. And he hasn't had a good season. So I think that that's helpful for LAFC. If I'm being perfectly honest, the man has not had a clean sheet since May 14th. So I'm not worried about that. In fact, I think it might be a good thing that they're starting club legend and hero Maxime Crepeau. So I've got Kenny Nielsen and Maxime Crepeau. Chris Lafferty, I'm very excited for you to talk about your Portland player, but let's get to your LAFC player first. This is fun.
Yeah, well, I have up on the screen Igor Jesus, but if you're looking in the chat, Fluffhead says that he's bringing his cleats. So I'm watching out for Fluffhead in this game. But if he doesn't see the pitch, I'm going to go with Igor Jesus. Look, he's going to have his hands full on this one. We talked about all the players that are goal-scoring threats for Portland. We talked about the number of players that they have that are leading with the number of assists that they have and the threats that they bring there. Then you got a bunch of guys who do both. And I'll get to one of those guys in a second with Santi Moreno. But look, Igor Jesus is going to have he's going to have his hands full with this. They're going to have a lot of guys attacking, and I think it's going to be up to him in that midfield to really orchestrate a lot. I know that we can count on Marky Delgado. I'm not worried about him at all. I know he's going to lock him down. I think with Igor Jesus, what I'm going to look for with him is his ability to stand up with these guys, keep everything flowing properly, be tough and firm, but not get himself in trouble with cards. We have to avoid that. I know that he's got that fire in him. So as long as it's controlled and tempered, man, I'll be fine with the aggressiveness that he puts out there. But I just think that he's going to have his hands, and that we're going to have to depend on the midfield a lot. But also because I want to see him rise to the challenge. It's a big opportunity for him. The threat that I talked about with Portland, I think that it's something that I want to see Igor Jesus rise to that occasion. We've seen it throughout the season in big moments. He's stepped up, and so, but we've also seen where maybe the moment got a little, not too big for him, but he was out of his element a little bit. I want to see who we get tomorrow because I really have a lot of confidence in Jesus, and I think he'll do fine. Also, I think the midfield just seems to be the most consistent part of our team so far. We've had a lot of changes, and every week it seems that it's a new lineup in our front three. Our back three just fluffheads cleaning up for that game. That's just how all sorts of out of whack our back line is. But look, our midfield three has been pretty much the same all year. So with that consistency, I think Igor is set up to shine tomorrow, and I want him to be able to do so. And I'm really hoping that he does in the matchup tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because when we go to the five in the back, Igor is the one that comes off. So it'll be interesting to see what Steve decides to do with the formation. Look, I've got two keys to the match, and they're pretty simple. It was reported earlier this week, I believe by Tom Bogert, that LAFC extended the loan of Javier Dilrosun by 1 day. That's right, by 1 day, so that he could play in this match against the Portland Timbers. I've never had just 1 day to play for or perform for my job, but that may be what Javier Dilrosun has in this match. I don't know if LAFC is working behind the scenes with Club America to figure out a more palatable number so that Javier Dilrosun can come over. Maybe he comes over on TAM. I would love for that, but I would not want to bring Javier Dilrosun over as a DP for anything longer than the remainder of this season, if then the front office deems that Dilrosun may be our best shot at a goal scorer at this window deadline. But he's got 1 day to figure it out, and I think we are going to see the best Javier Dilrosun that we have seen since he has come to LAFC, particularly because he's not just playing for his job in black and gold, but he's auditioning for all of the other clubs out there that are potentially looking for a striker in addition to LAFC. So good old one-day Dilrosun. We'll have to see how that goes. And look, the bottom line, folks, don't take Denis Bouanga out of the ball game. In the chat, Denis is kind of joking with us about how he's playing center back tomorrow. Denis, I don't put it past you. The one thing that we know is that for 90 minutes, for 97 minutes, for 120 minutes, for whatever it takes, Denis Bouanga gives you everything he has out there on the pitch. In my opinion, he was the most electric and effective player on the pitch for MLS in that All-Star game. His 34 minutes, definitely 2 goal-scoring opportunities that he should have put in the back of the net. But we don't score first in that match without Denis Bouanga being unselfish and putting a ball perfectly on the head of Sam Surridge. Don't take Denis out of the ball game. If he's in that match, even if Eddie Segura gets the red card, I really do believe that we walk away 3-2 against the Galaxy. So I've got one-day Dilrosun, and don't take Denis out of the damn game. I'm curious about the second one.
Oh, well, I'm glad you did that, actually. My key to the game, I only had one key to the game. And stand by for players to PTW as players to watch, because I didn't have that ready when I was texting you, but I wanted to make sure I got you something. But it's a good thing, because you know what? Stand by for players to watch, because you cut me off before I got to my second player to watch in the match, Scarf. So actually, you teed yourself up perfectly by that. Yeah, I never got to talk about my player for Portland, Santi Moreno. Look, Santi Moreno, he's coming in with, look, Portland has such a breadth of scoring options, and they've got chance creators. Okay, we've got Moreno has 9 goal and assist, combo of 9 goal and assists on the season. I think it's 4 goals, 5 assists on the season. He's going to be the guy with LAFC's not fractured back line, but kind of piecemealed back line. And just everything that's in flux right now with LAFC. He's going to be the guy who tries to slip through the cracks and make something happen for Portland. I think he's going to be their most dangerous player, not necessarily the one who scores the most goals for Portland or anything, but it's a possibility that he's creating all the chances. But also, in our last meeting, he did score one of those 3 goals for Portland. So he's got the opportunities to, and he's got the danger of doing so. And I think Santi Moreno is going to be the guy that we're going to have to account for the most out of Portland's players tomorrow.
I love
Moving on to my key to the match. We got to play for our spot. Look, you mentioned it already with our guys, you know, like with Javier Dilrosun, guys are going to be playing for their spots, okay? And there's also a lot at stake here. I mean, if you're a defender on this team, which I don't know who's left at this point, but if you're a defender on this team, no, correct. Fluffhead is in the chat, though. If you're on this team and you're a defender, this is your opportunity to say, hey, I don't want to be just left on the sidelines for the rest of the year. I don't want to be just a pedestrian or having really great seats to the match. I want to be a part of this team. And this is almost an audition for all of the players that we have filling in tomorrow. Because when you have guys like, you know, Eddie Segura out, who I think has had a really fantastic season, when he goes and gets himself a red card in the manner that he did, that just shows, too, that he's a little bit of a wild card. And, like, if something sets him off, there's going to be an opening for you. And if you're a player on this team, I think you've got to be looking at this as not only a chance to help the team win, but to help yourself be put in a position to have a higher profile, not only just this year with LAFC, but going forward, no matter where you want to go after that. So there's a lot at stake for everybody here tomorrow, not just the game, not just a spot in the standings. Like we said, only 1 point separates the 2 teams, but everybody here, has a lot on the line, and I'm looking to see how they respond and play with that sense of urgency and see what happens when the stakes are risen. Because you know what? We're getting close to the end of the year, and let this feel like a playoff game for everybody, because now they have a little heightened stakes to go with it, just like you would in a playoff match. So I'm looking to see what playoff LAFC will do.
And I think playoff LAFC is coming in this one, folks. I really do. I actually think it'll be an aggressive match from both wingers in this one for the first time, for maybe even close to 90 minutes for both of them. I think Denis Bouanga and Javier Del Rosa are going to take over this match. While we talked about the offensive options for the Portland Timbers, Kevin Kelsey, Felipe Mora, Santi Moreno, I don't think that's going to be enough. I think missing both Cabecita and Anthony, it's going to be too tough of a challenge. Look, Felipe Mora is very good at turning back the hands of time when he's playing LAFC, but I don't think that is going to be the case in this match. I think that Portland will get one. It'll be probably on a very nice 1-2 ball into the box where they catch one of our back line sleeping, because you know what? I think that we are going to maybe give up one silly one because of some backline communication issues. There's just too many players that haven't played with each other nearly enough this season to not expect one of those. But I think that what is going to be our best defense in this particular match is our offense. I think LAFC is going to get it moving early. I think LAFC is going to want to be on the ball as much as possible rather than letting the other team possess. I think that bit us in the last match, even though we've been pretty solid in all of that for most of 2025. I think Steve Cherundolo is going to want to take the ball. He's going to want to use the ball well when we have the possession rather than just passing it on the back line over and over and over again. I think we're going to be more progressive. I think Denis Bouanga and Javier Del Rosa are going to get at least one apiece. I'm still hoping that Ryan Hollingshead gets the third goal. I've been on the Ryan Hollingshead bandwagon now for all season, wanting him to get one more to tie Graham Zusi as the all-time leading scorer in Major League Soccer for a defender. But either way, it is going to be 3-1 LAFC, and I'm going home with a new puppy scarf at the end of the game.
A new puppy scarf?
No. There was no comma. A new puppy scarf.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, well, but you know what? Hey, it's an option. It's an option. There is the option for adoption. So if you did want to and you want to throw a comma in there, you're more than welcome to. And anybody who can offer a good home, I encourage you to. Just had to throw that in. Here's my score prediction. I think 2-1. Like I said it at the end of last week's episode, or last game's episode against the Galaxy, that we're gonna have to score more. We're going to have to be on the attack, but I'm going to have to wait until I see it to believe it, because so far while we've shown flashes of, yes, we can have a 3-goal game, a 4-goal game, it seems like lately we're just squeaking by. And even though we put up 3 against the Galaxy, I'm not inspired by our team as a whole, especially on the offense. And while I think that we're going to need the offense to kind of bail out the defense tomorrow, not just in any one particular instance, but in general, I just want to be proven wrong. So that's why I'm only putting 2 up. I'm going to want them to put up more. I want them to have a showing. I want them to show out and really razzle-dazzle the crowd tomorrow. But I don't know. I know we've seen opportunities from Bouanga, and a couple of guys, Ordaz and Del Rosa, have been able to find the back of the net. But I just want consistency from our front attack. And until I can see that consistency from players other than Bouanga, I'm just going to be a little conservative with our offensive output for tomorrow. I think that with all the opportunistic players that Portland has, I think they're going to be able to find one. And I used the phrase earlier, let one slip through the cracks. I think that's going to be their attack on us tomorrow. I think that's going to be the way that they approach us, is to try to sneak one through. But that says to me, if that is what their plan is, I'm not too worried about it. And I think that our guys will step up. especially on that back line, because everyone's going to want to rise to the occasion. And look, I have a lot of faith in our guy, Nkosi Tafare. I think that with what he brings is he's brought a really good defensive game into his first season here with LAFC. And there was a lot of talk about, why aren't we playing him? Why aren't we giving him minutes? Why did we go another game without playing him? Well, here we are now down in the stretch and with players out for this game. And we have Nkosi Tafari playing in here with not a lot of minutes under his belt this year. It's almost like we signed a fresh player. So it's almost like we brought him in as a free agent with a lot of rest. So I'm excited to see what Tafari does for us. And I think that he's going to be a really good leader for us on that back line, leading everybody, calling everything out, and kind of being that general, telling everybody where to go. I'm excited for what he can do for us. I think ultimately Portland's going to get one in on the back of the net, but I think Lloris is going to have another excellent game, and he's going to come up big for us as well tomorrow.
I've got 3-1. Chris Lafferty's got 2-1. We went way long on this one more sleep, you guys. But let's have a Friday night out at BMO. It's going to be fun. It's the pesky pine trees of Portland coming to BMO Stadium to take on Denis Bouanga and your black and gold LAFC with several defenders out. Let's see what the right score is going to be. I like my 3-1. I think Lafferty's a little conservative at 2-1. I want to know what everybody else in the chat thinks. Hit us up on social media. And again, however it is that you access our Defenders of the Bank content, we so appreciate you. And you know how we like to end each and every one of these little...
Before that, I want to give a big happy birthday shout out to our boy Kellen Acosta back there. I know he's not with us anymore, but we'll see him in a few weeks in Chicago when we go against to play the Chicago Fire. But wanted to give a big happy birthday shout out to my guy. How to get that in.
Happy birthday, Kellen.